Good day, humans. Proud to be working with treestuff.com and bringing you this unboxing overview and first impressions of the CMI RopeJack. And what is the RopeJack? It's actually pretty simple, but incredibly handy. It is a light-duty mechanical advantage system that is pretty much the fastest to set up, so you don't have to worry about setting up 5-to-1s or setting up a Mazdam or power pull or anything like that. It is 2 ascenders basically. You can clip in with the beaner under the bottom, and the bottom acts as a capture device, and the top is what pulls. With this, you can get up to 800 pounds of pull power. It is for use with 3/8 to 5/8 ropes. It will work anywhere in there. I have not been able to find out quite why yet, but it says it's for use with static ropes only. The other climber I've worked with in the past, Joe, has one of these, and after working with him and using his, it was so handy that I'd be on my own jobs and really wanted it, so I picked up my own. But we've used this with fairly dynamic ropes, at least in the arboriculture industry, with up to 7% elongation and 10% MBS, and have had no issues with it. So I've yet to get an answer or find out why it is that it says static lines only. But CMI also makes rock climbing products, and rock climbing ropes are much more dynamic than ours, so I'm wondering if they're coming at it from a viewpoint of making products for both industries. What the arboriculture industry would call dynamic, they may call static. I'm not quite sure yet. To be safe, use it with static ropes. This is to be used one-handed only. If you were to use 2 hands, you could potentially break the handle. There is a hole drilled into it to make it weaker on purpose. That way, if you get too much pulling force, the handle will break before it shreds your ropes. If you've seen this before in the past, you'll notice that the handle is actually different than it used to be. The old style handle had many more holes drilled in. I'm thinking that the issue was that it was a bit too weak. Joe actually did break his handle on his, and so I believe that they made it more solid, a little bit heavier I would imagine, but also a bit stronger, so you're not going to be breaking it unnecessarily. Speaking of shredding ropes, the ropes that they've tested, a 1/2-inch rope shreds the outer sheath at roughly 1,500 pounds. Being able to put out up to 800 pounds of force single-handedly, you definitely don't want to use 2 hands, and you definitely don't want to use a cheater bar, because you can damage the RopeJack or completely destroy your rope. What I've used this for most in the past is mainly tip tying and smaller limbs. You can pull them up, and also it's really good at pulling slack out of a line. If you're over an obstacle, you can really get all that tension in there so that the limb doesn't fall as far. It stays closer up to the block that you're in or ring that you're in or whatever. It is pretty handy to have, and also I didn't realize it, but it is approved with another capture device for use with life support. So technically you can climb with this thing, although it wouldn't be too fast. If you have an injury or something like that on the lower body, you could use this to get up in the trees. I'm going to go ahead and set this up in the configuration that we commonly use, but it can be used many different ways. You just have to use your imagination. The thing is an incredibly handy tool, and what I like most about it is the quickness with which you can set it up. I still have my Mazdam and fiddle blocks and all that for when I really need some more power, but when I don't need to take the time to set all that stuff up for something that doesn't require it, this thing really pays itself off fast with speeding up the process. Before I show it in use, you can see we do have locks on the cams. These are toothed. Make it easy. You rope on, rope off, or rope in, rope out. Hold down here, is where your carabiner goes. It's really light, under 2 pounds I'd say. You can actually take this up into the tree with you, have it wherever you need to be. For basic demonstration, got my log trolley, chokered off, my large impact in the overhead. You can see my sexy new 7/8 T-Rex Ultra Sling. Currently doing the Nicorrea splicing series, and it's amazing. I did a little bit of splicing just off of the websites of the rope manufacturers, but you can't learn from them the stuff that he teaches you. You can do cool stuff like make giant ultra slings like that. It's pretty awesome. Got that running down to a porter wrap. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook it up and show the most basic use of it. And so I've got my steel ISC beaner here. Slap it on your porter wrap. To lock your rope in, the bottom. There's the top. Now, one thing to note is you can accidentally go the wrong way. You can see it puts a pretty severe bend in the rope. You don't want to do that. So make sure you're going this way. You come down, you want to pull with that cam, There's not enough rope weight and not enough counterbalance on my table to keep it in place. So you can just pull that through, locks it in with that bottom tooth descender, brings it up, repeat. Because even my tools and my 20-ton hydraulic are not holding that in place, but it'll be alright. So, I mean, that's, I think about 120 pounds on there, and it's just effortless. One thing to note, if you pull sideways at an angle, or if you're bound up, it can bend your handle. That's actually what Joe did. So you want to make sure you're coming straight in line with the rope when you're pushing down. Only use one hand. It's as simple as that. When you get to this point, just unlock your rope from your porta wrap, pull the slack, lock it back in. To disconnect it, I'm going to pull down a little bit, make sure that bottom cabin grabs. Disconnect the top ascender, move it down, lock it in, just walk it off, going back and forth. See there, it only took one. Lock both the ascenders open, remove it, and there you go. That's what I most commonly use this for, but there are definitely other ways you can set it up. Set up a whole 5-to-1 system, as you can see here, but instead of hitting record, I didn't hit record. So when I went to turn it off, it started recording and I got about 30 minutes of this. But as you can see, set up with a 5-to-1, you can use it and pull upwards of 4,000 pounds. You obviously don't want to use carabiners or anything like that. This is just set up for demonstration. I don't have enough pulleys at home to set up a true 5-to-1 system. Yeah, don't use carabiners because with that much stress and strain and that narrow of a bend radius, you'll destroy your carabiners and your rope. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of a situation where I would use this, mainly due to speed, but it's another tool in your arsenal, so it's nice to know. One thing I was thinking about, reaching your second attachment device, making sure you can actually operate it. I should be able to reach this. And also, I originally set up my Safari in here, and I use my Safari with hand ascender, foot ascender, knee ascender, and it's fine, but it's not my primary life support. It's always used in conjunction with like my rope wrench or my rig. But the Safari is a kern mantle, so it's core bearing, and the outer sheath is not load bearing. And as a primary attachment point, I wouldn't really feel comfortable having a toothed descender on a kern mantle rope. So just something to be aware of. I think it would do fine, but I'd rather just play it safe. So let's play around with this and see how it works, yeah? Yeah, I mean, it's working, but yeah, it would take forever to get up in a tree like this. Wouldn't really want to do it, honestly. Well, expletive. All right, so I'm going to use a shorter tether. It's possible. Another use for this that is promoted is for cabling as well. You can quickly and easily get tension and draw the limbs together before installing the cable, making it a little bit easier. There you have it, the CMI RopeJack. Having used this quite a bit already, I'm comfortable in saying I love this product. There are just so many situations in which it is convenient to use, where it'll save you a lot of time, as opposed to setting up other MA systems. So I love it, and I definitely recommend it. Check the description below for a link to the product page at treestuff.com. Use the discount code online when checking out to receive 7% off your entire order at treestuff.com. And as always, have a good one, humans. CMI RopeJack.